Hey, math friends. So our learning target today is I can solve two-step equations using inverse operations. So for the past two lessons, we've been doing one-step equations. We did add and subtract on the first day, and then we did multiply, divide on the second day. So in our work today, what we're going to do is combine all of those skills in the same problem. So first we will have to undo the addition and subtraction, and then we will have to undo the multiplication and division. So you have all the skills to do this lesson. It's just going to become a two-step equation rather than a one-step. So when we solve equations, we are undoing the math. So when we had an addition problem, the lesson on addition subtraction, to undo that, to clean the yard, we would subtract. When we had a multiplication problem, to undo that, we would divide. So we are undoing the math when we solve equations. So what we need to do is work backwards using the reverse order of operations. This isn't super crucial that you know this, but just something to be aware of, that we are going to do all addition subtraction first today because we're undoing. And then we'll do multiplication division next. We won't get to the others. So with that said, same concept, but multiple steps. So we're still going to build that fence, and we're going to build a house. When we go to build the house this time, we're going to put that 3 inside of the house just because there's other stuff in the yard. So first we're going to get rid of the other stuff in the yard. We'll deal with the 3 in a minute. So you can see that that is a subtract 4. So to get rid of a subtract 4, we are going to add 4, copy, paste, copy, paste. If I haven't used it, drag it down, drag it down. So this becomes 0. And on the right-hand side, we have just 2 plus 4. You wouldn't even need to tug of war that because it's just 6. So that's step 1. This is a two-step equation. The first thing we did is we recognized that it was a subtraction problem, so we're going to add. So we do all addition, subtraction first, and then multiplication, division second. So now, I'm only going to build my house around the y now because all the stuff in the yard is gone. Recognizing this is multiply. To get rid of multiply, we know that we divide, copy, paste, copy, paste. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so we get y is equal to 2. So we believe that the answer is 2. And I'm going to erase all my work so I can plug back in. And if I have an error, then we can undo and try to see where the error is. So let's see if we agree that the solution is 2. So we're going to plug back in. So 3 multiplied by 2 minus 4, does that equal 2? So if we use the order of operations, that would be 6 minus 4. Does that equal 2? 2 equals 2. Yes. So we know that 2 is the solution for y. 2 is the solution. So this is called the two-step equation. You'll notice that we're using the same skills that we've been using the last couple days, all jammed into the same problem. So the problems get bigger when we do two-step equations. Okay, next problem, two-step equation. So we're going to build our house, build our fence, clean our yard, clean our yard. So I'm going to build a house with all that stuff attached to it, recognizing that I have to do the add subtract first. So to clean the yard here, I'm going to subtract 2, copy, paste, copy, paste. Now I'll deal with that divide by 3 in a minute, but it comes later in the order of operations, reverse, when we solve. So 2 and negative 2, when we tug a war, becomes 0. If I haven't used it, drag it down, drag it down. And then on the right-hand side, if we tug a war that, we have 14 players on team negative. We have 2 players on team negative, which results in 16 players on team negative. So we're going to go ahead and multiply nice and high, copy, paste, copy, paste. So with that said, we have 3 divided by 3. And then on the right-hand side, we end up with a negative 48. And you're welcome to use a calculator on that if that's a little tricky. So there's the 2 steps. First thing we did is we subtracted 2, copy, paste, copy, paste. And then we multiplied nice and high by 3, copy, paste, copy, paste. So now I'm going to erase all my steps. And I'm going to plug back in and check. I believe that the correct answer is negative 48. So let's see if that's true. If I put a negative 48 in for y and I divide, you're welcome to use a calculator here. This is a triangle problem. That would be negative 16 plus 2, and there was a negative here. I just erased it by mistake, so sorry about that. If we tug of war here, we end up with negative 14 equals negative 14. So it checks out that we know that the solution is negative 48. The value of y is equal to negative 48. So this is called a two-step equation. So we're going to just keep plugging along. Super duper important day on our two-step equation work. Build house, build fence, clean yard, clean yard. Build house, build fence, clean yard. To clean a yard, we have to get rid of the -6 first. We'll deal with the -9 in a minute, but it's in the house right now, and then it's got to go. So we're going to add 6, copy, paste, copy, paste. Step 1, make sure you're showing your work exactly how I am. You should be doing these as we go, so that means you're going to probably have to pause the video because I do talk fast. If I haven't used it, drag it down, drag it down. That's the beauty of being able to pause me. So we get 0 here, and on the right-hand side, we have 27. This is a multiplication problem here. So to undo, we divide by the number out front, which is -9. Don't forget to copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. So we end up with -9 divided by -9 is 1. X is finally home alone. And on the right-hand side, we are going to deal with this triangle problem. We have positive 27, -9, which results in -3. So we're going to plug back into the original equation and make sure that we have it correct. So if we substitute back in, we have -9 multiplied by -3 minus 6 equals 21. So we multiply here, we have 27 positive. You can use your calculator to check that out if you need to make sure. And we end up with that 21 equals 21. So therefore, we know that the solution is -3, just simply by plugging it back in here. And again, if you need a calculator to help you with a few steps, that's totally cool with me. Okay, group, let's try the next problem. Next problem is over here. So we're going to build house, build fence, clean yard, clean yard. So here is my house. Don't forget to grab the sign in front, the jersey. What's in front of the jersey? You've got to grab that sign. So that's a positive on the X and a negative on the 4. So the first thing's got to go is this positive 12. Remember, it's the jersey on the front. So we're going to subtract 12, copy, paste, copy, paste. We got to get rid of the stuff in the yard first. 0. If I haven't used it, drag it down, drag it down. And on the right-hand side is 8. Step 1. Now the X is not alone yet. There's still stuff in the yard, so we're going to have to do another step. That's why it's a two-step equation. So I'm going to build my house, recognizing that this is a division problem. And to get rid of division, we're going to multiply nice and high, copy, paste, copy, paste. So this ends up becoming 1. So we get X equals, and we have a triangle problem over here. We have positive 8, -4, so the result of that is -32. So let's take a look at our check step. So for the check step, we're going to put a -32 in the X spot. So this becomes a triangle problem right here. We have -32 divided by -4 is positive 8. So we have 12 plus 8 equals 20. Does the left side equal the right side? Yes. So we know that -32 is the solution to X. All right, I'm going to do 2 more, and then we're going to do a lot more pausing on this particular skill because I want to make sure that you have this mastered. We want to make sure this is a mastered skill. It's really like the #1 thing in algebra. Okay? So let's try these 2, and then we're going to do some pausing. Here we go. Build house, build fence, clean yard. So there's my house. Not really sure what's going on there. What button? I'm not sure. We're going to undo because I have numbers coming all over the page here. Back to this pen. Clean yard, clean yard. So the -7 is going to clean the yard for us because we do opposite on the operation to clean the yard. If I haven't used it, drag it down, drag it down. This becomes 0, which is good because we were trying to clean the yard. And 15 take away 7 is 8. You can tug a war that, but it's pretty obvious to me since 15 is bigger. Step 1. Now is x alone? No. How do we get rid of the -2? It's multiply. So I want you to get rid of it by dividing by the number out front. -2 divided by -2 is 1. So we get x equals, we have a positive on the 8, a negative on the 2, so the result of that is -4. So now we're going to plug back in and make sure that -4 is the solution. So we have -2 multiplied by -4 plus 7. Does that equal 15? Well, this is a triangle problem here. So we get positive 8 plus 7 equals 15. 15 equals 15. So we know then that we do have the correct solution. -4 is the solution for x. That is the x value. Okay, guys, one more together, and then I'm going to have you try some on your own. So this will probably be a pretty long lesson because we want to make sure we nail this skill. Build house, build fence, clean yard, clean yard. So we want to clean the stuff out of the yard. Again, pause video at any time because I know you need time to write. That's the key about just using the pause button. I'm going to just keep talking at my pace because you can pause me at any time. So if I haven't used it, drag it down, drag it down. Otherwise, the videos would be like 2 hours long. 7 minus 3 is 4. Build house, build fence, clean yard, clean yard. The operation here is multiply. We need to get rid of that 2. And the only way to get rid of that 2 is to divide. Copy, paste, copy, paste. So we end up with x is equal to 2. So we're going to plug it in. And we have 2 times 2 plus 3 equals 7. Yes. So we know that 2 is the solution. Okay, group. So now it's your turn to try. So I'd like you to write down these 2 problems. Actually, I think I'm going to do the first one with you, and then the next 5 I'll have you try. Hopefully I have more of those. Let me see this next page quick. Yep, that's there. Not a lot of them to try. Okay, I'm going to do this one with you, and then I'm going to have you pause. So build house, build fence, clean yard, clean yard. Our job is to clean the yard. So we're going to subtract. Hopefully you're getting the hang of that. It's kind of the same thing every time. If I haven't used it, drag it down, drag it down. We have 0 here. And when I tug a war, I have 9 players on team negative, 2 players on team negative. So we have all those players on team negative. When I go to build house, build fence, clean yard, I need to get the x alone, so I have to get rid of the divide by 3. So we're going to multiply nice and high, copy, paste, copy, paste. Remember, we're multiplying to get rid of the division. That becomes 1. So x finally gets to be alone. And on the right-hand side, I have a triangle problem of -11 multiplied by +3 is -33. So our job then is to plug this -33 back into the equation and see what happens. So do we believe that the answer is -33? Is that true? So we're going to plug back in. So we'd have -33 divide by 3 is -11 plus 2. If I tug a war that, does that give me -9? Yes. And again, you can use a calculator. You can go at much slower pace, but I just am confirming that that's the correct answer. All right. At this point, we're at 14 minutes. This is going to probably be a pretty long video. I need you to pause the video and try the problem on the right. -4p plus 9 equals -5. I want you to show all your steps. I need the copy, the paste, the build house, build fence, all your steps. Go. Okay, so you should have had enough time to pause the video and check it out. So we're going to build house, build fence, clean yard, clean yard. If I haven't used it, drag it down, drag it down. And on the right-hand side, we have -14. Now be careful. I guess I didn't pay point this out to you, but you're going to end up with a decimal or a fraction on this one. Sorry about that. I should have told you ahead of time. I didn't realize it. As we solve here then, we're going to divide by the number out front, which is -4. Copy, paste, copy, paste. So we get -4 divided by -4 is 1. So we get P is equal to, we have a triangle here, so a negative and a negative in the triangle is going to be positive. And I'm going to reduce this 14/4. I'm going to divide the top and the bottom by 2 because they both could be cut in half, which would be 7/2 or 3.5 would be your answer. Now I'm out of room, but you really should be plugging that back in for P. Decimal is a little bit easier to probably plug back in and verify that that is the correct solution. So hopefully you got that correct. I apologize for not giving you the heads up on that decimal. All right, I'm going to ask you to pause the video and just do the problem I highlighted in blue. Go, pause the video. Okay, all y'all should have tried that problem there in blue. Hopefully you've solved that. Here we go. So we're going to build house, build fence, clean yard, clean yard. To clean the yard, we're going to add 7, copy, paste, copy, paste. If I haven't used it, drag it down, drag it down. In the right-hand side, we have 24. That's step 1. Hopefully you have that. I expect vertical lines for the fence. I expect a box around for the house, for the variable. We should have lines drawn, arrows drawn, etc. Now, the x wants to be alone. The operation right here is multiplication. To get rid of it, we need to divide by the number out front. Copy, paste, division. Remember, all fractions are division. So -6 divided by -6 is 1, so we get x equals. This is a triangle problem then. We have positive 24 divided by -6, so the result of that is -4. All right, I guess I should plug this back in and check. So we're going to take this -4 and we're going to plug back in. So we end up with 24 positive. You can use your calculator if you need to. And sure enough, that is the correct answer. I'm just verifying that I had the correct answer there. Plug that back in. All right, hopefully you did okay. At this point, I want you to pause the video and do the problem on the upper right. All right, so you should have had enough time to pause the video and try this problem. Build house, build fence, clean yard, clean yard. So to get rid of the 5, the messy positive 5 in the yard, we're going to subtract to undo that operation. If I haven't used it, drag it down, drag it down. And over here, if we tug of war that, we end up with -6. Now be super duper careful on this next step. Super careful. All right, so we want to build the house around the x. This is a division problem, so we want to get rid of divide by 6 rather. So we're going to multiply by 6, copy paste, but it's got to be nice and high to make sure that we do the right operation. So we end up with x is equal. This is a triangle problem, and it ends up being -36. Now I'm going to erase all of that so that I can show my work a little bit better on substituting back in to check. Maybe I'm going to. Doesn't want me to erase here, guys. Okay, there we go. So we're going to plug back in. And we get -36 divided by 6 this is a triangle problem, is -6 plus 5 equals -1. So -1 equals -1. We got the left side to equal the right side, so we know that -36 is the solution for x. Last 2 problems of the day. We're at the 20-minute mark. So I want you to try the problem on the upper left, just that one, and then pause it. We'll go over it, and then the upper right. So here we go. Build house, build fence, clean yard, clean yard. Get rid of the -2. It's got to go over the fence into the neighbor's yard. So we go opposite to get rid of it. I guess this is going to be a decimal as well. We're adding, I'm going to erase that because it looks like I put a 12, but I didn't mean to. We're adding 2, rather. So 11 plus 2 is 13 on the left side. If I haven't used it, drag it down, drag it down. Don't forget that sign out front. Step 1. These are two-step equations. Now, x wants to be alone. The operation that's attached is multiplication. So to get rid of it, we're going to divide by the number out front. Copy, paste, copy, paste. So that's a 1, and we get x alone, which is good news. The sign's going to be negative, and you can put that in your calculator if you want and just take the top number and divide by the bottom number. I'm just kind of doing it in my head here. What would that be? 2 3/5, so like 2.6, I think I have it. Hopefully I have that right. 2 3/5 or 2.6. I better verify. This is what I get for doing it in my head, right? Yeah, negative 2.6 is the correct answer. Let's substitute that back in, because the last time it was a decimal, I did not because of space, and I just want to prove to you that it doesn't matter that there's a decimal. So we're going to substitute back in for the x up here. So if we go negative 5 multiplied by negative 2.6 minus 2. So we would then have positive 13 minus 2, and we do get the left side equals the right side because this right here equals positive 13. So we know that x has a value of negative 2.6. Okay, I'd like you to pause the video, and it's going to be the last problem of the day, the one in the upper right. Go. All right, last problem of the day. Let's see how you did. Build house, build fence, clean yard, clean yard. So we're going to add 5, copy, paste, copy, paste. If I haven't used it, drag it down, drag it down. Looks like we're going to get another decimal out of this. That's step 1. Clean the yard, add 5, copy, paste. Now it's a multiply problem. To get rid of multiplication problems, we divide by the number out front, copy, paste, copy, paste. We have 2 divided by 2 is 1, and we get x is equal to negative 2.5. Or you could also have negative 2 1/2 is also acceptable as a mixed number. So we're going to substitute back in as our very last step, and we are going to be done for today. Just a quick summary. And we out, okay? So we have 2 multiplied by negative 2.5 minus 5. Does that equal negative 10? You can use your calculator for sure if you need some help on the steps there. But if we were to tug of war the left side of this, you could see that indeed negative 10 equals negative 10. So we know that the solution to the equation, negative 2.5 is the solution for x, which is the same as negative 2.5. So the summary for two-step equations is this. Anytime you have a two-step equation, you build a house, build a fence, clean your yard. But there's 2 steps to the solving process. There's step 1, first get rid of the garbage in the yard. That was step 1. And then step 2 would be to undo the multiplication, for example. So that's why it's called a two-step equation. Just remember then, my other point would be this. Just remember that when it's, when it's a division problem, it's kind of that same process. Drag it down, and then we multiply nice and high, copy, paste, copy, paste. Of course, I kept it nice and easy for us on the steps there, but just a review of what we did today. Great job. Stick with it. Make sure you're showing all your steps. If you need anything, reach out. You can do this. Keep working hard. Have a glorious night. See you tomorrow.